There's something strange in the modern dating world. When you chase her, text her every morning, check on her every night, she becomes indifferent. But when you disappear without a single goodbye, she starts liking your old photos from 2021. Weird? Not really. Because you've touched a truth that very few men have the courage to face. The more you pull your energy back, the more she gets drawn in. And no, this isn't a mind game. This is emotional physics. When you stop being the sun, her world begins to freeze, and she realizes just how much you used to mean. In this video, I'm not going to teach you how to win her back. I'm going to help you understand why you don't need to get anything back at all. Watch till the end, because by the time this video finishes, you won't just see her differently, you'll see yourself differently. Phase 1. Shock, denial, loss of control. Not every lightning strike of love comes when you meet her. Some strike the moment you fall silent, after you walk away. And when that happens, she doesn't just feel a little lost. She feels like her entire universe has tilted off axis. When a man truly stops chasing, stops texting goodnight, stops revolving around her emotions, for some women, it feels like the collapse of an emotional empire they thought would last forever. I remember a friend from Florida. His name was Marcus, an Uber driver with a laid-back attitude and that classic Southern gentleman vibe. His girlfriend, a beauty blogger, once jokingly said, "He's as sweet as my golden retriever." Sounds adorable, but also kind of alarming, right? Marcus did everything for her, driving 40 minutes just to deliver Starbucks to her nail appointment, sitting through an hour of workplace drama that he didn't even understand. And then one day, Marcus just stopped showing up. No more Starbucks, no more texts, no more heart emojis, no arguments, no dramatic breakup, just silence. The strategic retreat women are used to being pursued. Since puberty, they've lived in a world where the other side always initiates. A glance, a compliment, a casual coffee invite, all reinforcing one belief: I am the one being chosen. When you walk away, you don't just take yourself out of her life. You take away her starring role in the movie she thought she was directing. And now, she doesn't know what to do when the audience leaves. Denial. He'll come back, right? Her first reaction isn't sadness. It's disbelief. No way, he's just busy. Maybe he dropped his phone in the toilet. He's probably just testing me. She reopens your old conversations, checks when you last texted. She watches your stories, but doesn't react. She's trying to stay in control, like a person in early stage withdrawal. And by day 3, with still no ping, she starts to feel unsettled. She used to be the one who held the cards, the one who knew what you'd text, when you'd text, and how you'd respond if she dropped a cute emoji. Now, you've become an unsolvable equation. Her ego starts to crack. Few people will admit this. The human ego despises the feeling of losing control, and women, no matter how strong or independent, are not immune to the shock of realizing that someone who once saw them as everything now doesn't seem to care at all. She starts doing the opposite of what she says. On social media, she posts captions like, "Living my best life." But inside she's wondering, what did he think when he saw that? And in that moment, when all the old control tactics stop working, she's forced to confront a feeling she never prepared for: powerlessness. She pretends calm, but her mind is in a storm. She won't admit she's shaken. She'll still go to parties, still take pictures, still tag friends. But you, the one who disappeared, are now the epicenter of her thoughts. Because when you stopped, you didn't just leave a space behind. You left a question that she doesn't know how to answer. Why didn't he come back like everyone else? The paradox of phase 1 is this. You did nothing, yet you've shaken her inner world, and she still smiles, still posts, still lives her best life. But there's just one thing that's not the same. No one's watching anymore, and she knows it. Phase 2. Self-doubt, jealousy, self-examination. When you stay silent long enough, something strange begins to happen. A woman starts asking questions to herself. Not questions like, "Where did he go?" but something far more terrifying. Am I no longer attractive enough to make him come back? I once met a woman named Alicia in Seattle. She worked in marketing for a cosmetics brand and had nearly 90,000 followers on Instagram. In everyone's eyes, she was the goddess of confidence. Always red lipstick, always knew her best angles, and always surrounded by men. But there was one thing Alicia never expected. Her ex-boyfriend, a shy guy named Daniel who worked as a software developer, stayed completely silent for 3 weeks after she tested his patience by ghosting him for 2 days. Strangely, Daniel didn't cry. He didn't send "Are you okay?" He just vanished. Like a true programmer, when there's a bug, he debugs. When something's toxic, he hits exit. No way, he's probably just testing me? At first, Alicia held her ego high. She told herself, he's just playing hard to get. Guys always come back. He's probably planning some surprise. But as the days passed, there was no surprise. Only silence, thick as 5 a.m. fog in Seattle. That's when self-doubt began to seep in. The mirror no longer says, "You're the fairest of them all." When others stop reflecting the image we want to see, we start looking more closely at ourselves. She spent more time in front of the mirror, did her makeup more meticulously, changed her profile picture more often than usual, posted stories constantly, but not to live for herself like her caption claimed. No, it was to check. Did he watch it? And when she didn't see your name in the viewers list, she started checking Instagram with a backup account. That's right, the anonymous account, just to see who views her stories without being detected. From self-doubt to jealousy. Who's that smiling at him? One evening she scrolled through your profile, saw you check in at Starbucks with the caption, "Just me and my peace of mind." And then someone named Sophie commented, "Enjoy your coffee." That was all it took. Alicia's whole world crumbled because of a cup of coffee and a smiley face. She started scrutinizing your followers list. Who's new? Who's liking your posts? Who's commenting? Is there a girl in a crop top? Her mind turned into a part-time detective bureau, but working at full FBI intensity. Women are not used to feeling replaceable. From a young age, society teaches girls, "You're special." They grow up with attention, with compliments, with eyes following them. So when a man who once saw her as his whole world suddenly stops looking, the pain isn't about love. The pain is that her ego lost the spotlight. The question that keeps her up at night. Am I not as valuable as I thought? This is the most painful moment. Not because you're silent, but because your silence reflects a truth she doesn't want to face. I'm not so special that everyone finds me impossible to leave. You don't have to say anything. Just live your life. Post a gym selfie. Snap a sunset shot. Add a caption like, "Fewer expectations, more peace." That alone is enough to break her. Core philosophy. You're not trying to make her jealous. You're not posting photos with other women. You're just being true to yourself, pulling your energy back from where it no longer belongs. And it's exactly that. Not drama, not arguments, not games, that makes a woman lose control. Phase 3. Rationalization, rebound, regret. You'd think that after all the jealousy and self-doubt, she'd come back and say, "I'm sorry, I was wrong." Nope. Because the human ego, especially when it's hurt, doesn't move in straight lines. It swerves and twists like a bus route in San Francisco. And instead of facing the truth, it takes a sharp turn, straight into rationalization. The phase of convincing herself that you were the loser. After several days of not hearing from you, she begins to change the channel in her mind. Honestly, he wasn't even on my level. I was just into the bad boy phase. He was weak, couldn't handle a strong woman like me. It's better that I ended things. You know what's ironic? You're the one who walked away, but she's trying to retell the story like she was in control all along, rewriting history. In a custom Google Doc, she starts internal PR, telling her friends, telling the group chat. I wasn't feeling it for a while, I just didn't say anything. He was so boring, always sending the same tired memes. I'm into mature vibes. He was like a kid. And guess what? She's not trying to convince you. She's trying to convince herself. And then enters the new guy. At this point, you're blocked, unfollowed, or worse, replaced. She starts posting photos going out with a new guy, usually the type who wears white shirts with 2 buttons undone. Bobs takes gym selfies with the caption, "No pain, no gain." Smiles at the camera like he's shooting a toothpaste commercial. His name might be Zach or Jake, or the name doesn't matter. What matters is that he came in way too easily. Rebound, not out of love, but to save the ego. Zach, let's call him that, isn't the man she truly wants. He's the floaty, the emotional crutch, the band-aid for a bruised ego. She needs a man to prove that she still has value. She needs someone to FaceTime at night, someone to grab coffee with, snap Instagram stories, tag a location, and write a caption like, "Life's still good." Reality, life isn't good. She's just covering up one simple truth. The man she wanted a reaction from didn't react. And that crushes her ego. But then what happens? After a while she realizes Zach says yes to everything, replies to texts in 5 seconds. There has no opinions, no pushback, no challenge. And worst of all, no mystery. You know what makes a man attractive? Not a six-pack, but principles. And Zach? He doesn't even know how to say no. And women instinctively don't respect a man they can control. The moment she realizes she downgraded, she once had you. A man who knew when to step back, when to stay silent, and when to walk away. Now she has someone who's always there even when she doesn't want him to be. And that kind of availability bores her. She starts texting less, sees him less, starts getting busy on weekends. And eventually, she starts thinking about the man she lost. The man who knew how to disappear at the right moment. The outcome. She circles back to the old places, the ones where you used to exist. She quietly watches your stories again. Sends a message. "I just listened to that song you sent me the other day. Made me miss you." Not because of love, but because she finally admitted to herself she gave up someone real for someone temporary. Conclusion. Be the man who knows when to walk away. There are battles you win by striking first, but there are also battles you win by knowing when to retreat. Not retreating out of weakness, but retreating because you finally understand yourself and know your worth. You don't need to prove anything to someone who has already disrespected your presence. You don't need to stay and teach her a lesson, because the deepest lesson is when you're no longer there to teach it. You are the prize, not the applicant. You're not someone who needs to apply for love. You don't have to send in an emotional resume, attach sweet little samples, and wait for approval. You are the reward, the worthy conclusion, the seat not everyone deserves to sit in. And when you live like that, not forcing it, not shouting it, women will feel it. Strategic absence is the ultimate weapon. You don't need to block her. You don't need to unfollow. You don't need to post pictures with someone new out of spite. You only need clarity and silence. Silence is not avoidance. Silence is the declaration that I no longer need to be present where I'm not respected. And that, my friend, is a kind of power most men never develop the courage to hold. Final call. If you've made it this far, it means you didn't just listen for fun. It means you're waking up. So do this one thing. Comment below. I am unbreakable. Let others see that you're no longer a chaser, but a man who knows when to stop. Hit that subscribe button, not for me, but because you deserve to access truth that's not sugar-coated, but freeing. And if there's a man you know who's stuck in an energy-draining relationship, send him this video. You don't need to advise him. Just share a truth, the truth that he has the right to walk away. And never go back. Be the man who knows when to leave. The weak man fears losing. The strong man is willing to let go. But the awakened man doesn't need to hold on or let go. He just walks away. One step, no looking back. And then you'll realize everything worth having begins with you.